Hi everyone, good morning. This is Christine again. This is part 2, and it is Friday, January 6th, 2016. It's in the morning. I'm going to talk to you about the triangle. Okay, the regular triangle with the point at the top, that is not God, that's actually the devil. Okay, hierarchy is the devil. When you wake up and you become conscious of everything, you realize that there's only one divine, and that God and the devil are actually the same person. They're two in one. But the hierarchy of the triangle is where one person sits at the top, and then everybody underneath is in levels, upper class, middle class, lower class, poor, etc. But it's not just in terms of work, there's just a hierarchy in general. And you got a few, like the elite, you got a few at the top, and then everybody at the bottom works in order to keep those few sitting up top. It's just like in Egypt, how you used to have men carrying one person, like there'd be 4 or 5 guys on each side holding a bar, and then there was this chair that was high up and exalted, and there would be one man or one woman sitting in the chair above it, being carried through the town, because they were the king or the queen, something like that. You don't have kings or queens in the kingdom of heaven. You only have it in the devil's kingdom. This hierarchy thing, where you have to bow down and worship and pray and serve and sacrifice in order to earn your way up to heaven. So in other words, you have to earn your way from being poor to being one of those elite at the very tip top, because the tip top is supposedly heaven in the devil's kingdom, but really it's not. It's hell. It's when you get up there, you got all kinds of expectations put upon you. Just look at the Hollywood people. They have all their riches, but there's a lot of stuff that's demanded of them that goes contrary to a person's soul or their conscience. But I don't want to get into that. The upside down triangle, where the point is pointing downwards towards the bottom, and then it goes up like an array of sun, and then you have the widest part at the tip top. That's actually heaven. Because heaven starts at one single point. Okay, there's only one source creator. There's only one divine. So you have that one single point at the very bottom, and then it expands out. And as it goes out, out, wider, wider, wider into infinity. And that's what it is. Source creator starts at one dot. He or she is the original source creator, and then all of heaven and the universe expands from that one point. And everybody inside of it is included. See, heaven is inclusion versus the devil's kingdom is exclusion. They keep you separated and out, because only the tip top people in the devil's kingdom get everything. Everybody else is left out in poverty. In heaven, source creator starts at the bottom point, and everybody is included because they are inside of those two rays that expand out. Now when you put those two triangles together, the one that points down and the one that points up, you get something called a Merkaba. It looks like the Star of David when the two stars overlap. The Star of David, okay, it starts out with Abraham, and you get all these religions branching out. Muslim, Islam, Christianity, all these religions that branched out from Abraham. All of them have one thing in common, and that's law. Law is bondage. This is why the Jewish people, the guys, they put that box on their head with the forehead, and they wrap their hands up with those leather straps on their arms and stuff. It's bondage, guys. It's law It's prison. It's a straitjacket when you go crazy. It's unnecessary. My hope and prayer is that all religion will go away. Okay? It's not, religion is bondage. It's hell. It's prison. It's unnecessary. It's not heaven. And it's not the way to heaven. You don't get to heaven by doing all these services and sacrifices and observing all these holy days and going to visit shrines and giving alms and paying your tithes and stuff like that. That's not the way to earn your way to heaven. You don't have to earn anything, because if you have to earn your way to heaven, earn your way to the top, you are in the devil's kingdom. You are in the triangle that has the point at the very tip top, and the devil is the one who sits at the very tip top, telling you you have to worship, you have to bow down, you have to submit yourself, you have to serve. That is not Christ, guys. That's not Christianity. That's not heaven. Okay, so first of all, you got to realize which kingdom you're in, based on your actions and based on what you're doing, based on what your mindset is. Okay, you got to first realize what kingdom you're in order to realize that you need to get out of that kingdom. This goes for every religion. I mean, I find it ridiculous that Jewish women, like the Orthodox ones, have to wear wigs because they can't allow anybody except for their husband to wear their hair, to see their hair, their natural hair. Or women over in the Middle East where they have to cover up their whole entire body except their eyes. And if they even so much as look at another woman or another man on the street when they're passing them on the sidewalk, that's grounds for being stoned. Women are the divine, okay? And men seem to have become like the devil, crushing them and oppressing them, because that's what the devil's kingdom is. It's about oppression and crushing other people to make them smaller so that they can sit at the very tip top. That's not the kingdom of heaven. Again, I can't get my shoes fell off. Religion, guys, it's finished, okay? It's old, it's run its course, it has caused massive damage over the generations, over the centuries. We have had people, especially in the Christian religion, if you don't conform to what they want you to conform, people were put on racks, they were disemboweled, meaning cut apart while they were alive and had organs pulled out of them. They were put on the rack and stretched. They were put in vats of hot oil and burned. They were tied to a stake with hay underneath it, and they were burned alive. They were ostracized as witches. All because they were different. Really what they were was light workers, bringing in their little bit of light for that short time of period that they were on this planet. And then you die, but then you come back in another life, and you continue your journey until your journey is finished. Well, my journey is many lifetimes, and I finished it in this lifetime. But I think that's the whole reason I came here, was to finish the job. Because I knew at 9 years old that I was here to finish something. I didn't know what it was, but I knew at 9 years old that I was here to finish something. I was tired of seeing the cruelty and the nastiness and the meanness in people, and I decided I was going to end it. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew that I was here to end something. And that was at 9 years old that came to me. These women over in the Middle East, you know, how they get oppressed, and it's all in the name of religion, guys. And religion is just laws and bondage. It's your prison bars. You know, when I was 2 years old, my parents, they took me to this garden. It was a park, and there were rose gardens. There were red roses all around me. And that's where I first learned how to walk. My mom held me, and then I took my first few steps, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 steps. And my dad was very close by, and he caught me before I fell. And somebody took, obviously, home video footage, because I was able to watch it. That's how I know this. I was also in my first winter coat, and no doubt my dad bought it for me because he was the one who had the money. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. But my winter coat was black and white squares, just like a checkerboard, or just like you see in the Masons, you know, or some of these like Italian restaurants where they have the black and white checkerboard or chessboard. That's what my winter coat looked like. And I was walking, taking my first few steps in all red roses in this park, in this garden that had red roses all growing naturally on bushes all around it. Now you know that red roses, well, roses in general, have thorns. So they're a beautiful flower, but there's a prick with the thorn that comes with it, you know. It's a needle, which is like a spinning needle. The spinning needle, if you remember from Sleeping Beauty, because I never watched Sleeping Beauty until I was a nanny for two little kids, a 7 and an 8-year-old, and they wanted to watch this one day, so I thought, okay, I'll watch it with them because that's what they wanted me to do. And I was really surprised because this was the first time I had ever seen it. I've heard of Sleeping Beauty, but I never knew what it was. And actually the movie Maleficent is an up-to-date version and a more accurate one, and I can actually very much relate to Maleficent. I totally get that woman. It's almost like part of it's like watching my own life. But again, I don't want to get into all this because in my previous video I told you everything that I've gone through is like a Walt Disney World fairy tale, and nobody would believe me if I told them. So I don't want to get into the details because I still don't think people would believe me. But my friends and family all saw me go through it, so it is real. Anyway, in the cartoon Sleeping Beauty, when she falls asleep, there's a fence of thorns that falls. Darkness falls over the kingdom because she's the princess, and thorns, a wall of thorns, start to cover it. It's because the curse has fallen when she fell asleep. And she falls asleep by putting her finger on a spinning wheel, which is prickly, just like a thorn. And she's laid down on a bed with a red rose on her chest. She waits for true love's kiss. Now, if you remember Anna's videos towards the end, before we resurfaced, one of those videos was having Jesus kiss us. And it's the kiss that wakes us up. And after I watched the video, because they were homework assignments for us, guys, we had 24 hours to do our homework, to let it soak in, to figure it out, to pray, and ask for understanding. And then the next day we got a new homework assignment. We went very, very fast through school, through Anna's videos, because Jesus was giving us new information every morning through Anna, a new homework assignment. And that's how he resurfaced us. But he didn't resurface us out in the middle of the ocean. He resurfaced us right at the beach so we could get out of the water and walk back on land where the other light workers are. And the light workers are there to help you to engage back into life again, okay? Everything's been set up for you for when you return. And the return is the first resurrection, when you come out of your grave. And like I said, I still feel, I don't feel like it's 2017. I feel like I'm in the 1990s in my mindset when I died. Okay, so there's like 21 years that have passed in between, and everything has changed ever since I woke up. And I'm just trying to readjust and figure out what exactly has happened in this world, you know, and get back engaged in it. But anyway, regarding the resurfacing and the being kissed by Jesus, you know, through the videos that he was giving us. So I had asked for it, and I actually visualized it, and I saw it. And the kiss, the true love's kiss. She wakes up, and the whole kingdom, the fence of thorns goes away. Light comes back on the kingdom. Everybody wakes up because they had all fallen into this sleep or like stupor. And everybody wakes up and life goes on. The world is normal again, which is, I think, what has happened to this planet. We have gone back. We're waking up. The stupor is coming off of people. The sleep is coming off of people. They are awakening. This is the spiritual awakening, the consciousness, the movement that's happening. The New Age is not something that's evil like what Christianity thinks it is. The New Age is actually the kingdom of heaven. Jesus said, "Lo, I am with you even till the end of the age." It's in the NIV Bible. Okay, it's Matthew 28. It's the last verse of Matthew 28, chapter 28. So the old age is the old paradigm that the devil was ruling. The new age is the new paradigm. It's the kingdom of heaven come in, guys. It's not evil. Okay, this new age movement, don't be afraid of it. And if anything, you fight it, you're fighting the kingdom of heaven coming in. But my black and white checkerboard coat is the black and white of duality. It's the Bible, the book of good and evil, and it's the devil. Okay, so I had that coat on even as a young child, which is almost like I was meant to go in that direction of duality and essentially of becoming the devil, dying, taking all the sins, because I had a mass of sins laid on me through circumstances that have happened in my life, and I took it with me and I died. But I died in a spiritual sense, not in a physical sense. I was still walking around physically, but I died because it was so much on me I couldn't stand it. It was almost like a suicide. But I died spiritually. I took it into hell through the abyss, through the grave, and then as Anna raised me, as Jesus raised me through Anna those last 3.5 years to resurrection, I came back out of the grave just like Jesus did. This is the same process that all of us have to do, okay? This is just my journey, but every one of us has to do this. If you died, you got to resurrect. Otherwise, you stay dead in the grave, and you don't wake up, okay? And you don't hear the final call. The final trumpet call was blasting all of 2014 to 2015. It was a wake-up call. It was the final trumpet in the book of Revelation, and those with spiritual ears and who had tuned themselves into the spiritual frequency was hearing it. Those people were hearing it, and they were waking up out of the graves. Those who were not in that frequency and did not hear it, they stayed asleep and in the graves, and they're still dead. Okay, so again, you got to figure out which one of those people you are, and then wake up. It's very simple, because you don't have to go through what Anna and I went through. Anna was the point of the plow. She made the way, and I did like the physical work prior to that, and then she and I together, when we came out together, it's like the two witnesses, the two pillars. And you guys don't have to go through what we went through. The door has been opened through me. The way has been made through Anna. When you wake up, you realize that this black and white, these black and white checkerboard squares, and duality is one God. It's the divine. Just like we're created in God's image, so we have a front side with our face and we have a back side with our back. God has the same thing. This is why when Moses said, "Can I see your face?" he said, "I can only show you my back side because nobody has seen my front side and lived." So Moses only saw God's back side. When you're talking to somebody and they're facing you and looking at you, they are listening to you, okay? It's acceptance. When they don't like you and are rejecting you, they turn their back on you. So the devil is only the back side of God. It's the shadow side. The front side of God is love and light. And depending on, if you stay in your natural form of life in the Garden of Eden and you don't die by ingesting the book, the Bible, or any law book from religion, then you remain in love and light and facing his front side. If you accept the book, you reject his love and light, and then you get his backside. It's rejection, it's the shadow side, it's the devil. Okay, so those are the two sides, but it's one person. Just like we have a front and a backside, God has a front and a backside. He's got love and light on one side, it's the yin and yang, and he's got the devil and the dark on the other side. So depending on which side, do you accept love and light, or do you accept the darkness and take a book in replace of consciousness and God? So Thanks for listening, and have a great day.